Hey everyone, I am your astrologer Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your daily forecast for the day of Monday, June 25th, 2018. Now what we've got going on today is the moon hanging out here in Sagittarius. When the moon's in Sagittarius, it brings our attention to doing something new that it is that we have not done before. Also traveling, studying, adventuring, again coming out of your comfort zone here in Sagittarius, and also maybe learning, adjusting your belief systems as well. Your beliefs fall into Sagittarius. Okay, so that's what's going on. Now, very, very early this morning at 3 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Sagittarius will then make a trine over here to Chiron in Aries. And what that could bring up very early this morning are perhaps some uncomfortable feelings, some insecurities as well that could occur. Okay, the reason for that is because we may be doing something new, traveling, being taken out of our comfort zone, and with the trine to Chiron, maybe we don't want to do that. Maybe that is not who we are, not what we want to do anymore, especially with Saturn being in Sagittarius for so long. Maybe we're tired of doing new things, tired of being adventuring, tired of exploring. We want to come home. We want to feel more familiar with what's going on in our lives. And I think maybe that's what could be difficult at 3 a.m. Mountain Time. How do we feel okay with ourselves, with who we are, while at the same time maybe needing to do one or two few new things to get our life on the track that we want it to be on. Okay, so that's what I think is going on there. Fortunately, I think that's the hardest aspect of the day, because after we maybe have that little bit of a shock as the moon enters into Sagittarius, the moon, I like to think, does end up in a pretty good space after that. That's because the next aspect after this occurs will be at 11 a.m. Mountain Time. At 11 a.m. Mountain Time, this moon in Sagittarius will come into a trine with the North Node. I do like to think that is very positive here to help you understand what you need to be happy, to move forward, to do some things that it is that you really enjoy, even if it means trying something a little bit different or new in order to find that happiness, in order for you to do more of what it is that you like. Okay, so I do think even if you aren't feeling quite right at 3 a.m. that it will smooth itself out as we move throughout the day. All right, and I think that's going to stick with us for quite some time, because after the moon makes that aspect, it's just going to hang out in Sagittarius until 5 p.m. Mountain Time. So what is that, about 6 hours later? And at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, as the moon moves further through Sagittarius, it is then going to make a sextile over to Mars in Aquarius, as it is stationing about to go retrograde later this week. And I think what that will give is not only an opportunity earlier in the day to do some things that you enjoy, to make some progress, to move forward, but will also give you a chance to, later in the day around 5 p.m. to think about your future, to envision possibilities, just take a step back from the things that you're doing that hopefully will make you happy, to see different perspectives, to understand where it's all going, how it's all adding up. Maybe also it will give you a chance at 5 p.m. to be out and about and to socialize, to lighten up. Okay, and to see things differently, that I do think will be very positive. Okay, so that's what's going on today. Those are the only aspects. The next thing that will happen will be tomorrow morning. And tomorrow morning at 2 a.m. Mountain Time, the moon will move further through Sagittarius and will make a trine to Venus. Again, that will be very good for you to work with relationships, to work with people, maybe also to work with your money with Venus involved. Okay. What I think is happening is it may be a chance for you to make new relationships, meet new people, or to come into new chapters with the people currently in your life. May also help you to come into new situations with your money, to cultivate maybe new talents, new value systems that are more exciting to you, that resonate more with your heart in some way, or maybe even just adventuring, having fun with the other people in your life as well, that could come in tomorrow at 2 a.m. Mountain Time, that I also do like. Okay, after that, tomorrow at 6 a.m. there may be something that comes up when the moon squares Neptune, maybe some confusion after you've been adventuring, after you've been figuring things out all day today. But I do think that before we get to the square to Neptune at 6 a.m. tomorrow morning Mountain Time, that there is a chance to really see things from different perspectives, to figure out what you need, to move forward and to feel a little bit more happy-go-lucky than we have recently with the moon here in Sagittarius, even if it gets off to a little bit of a rough start first thing early this morning. Okay, so that's what I see going on there. Now, things that are happening in the background, what we've got. All right, let's see. Venus today in an exact square with Jupiter. Again, that could bring what? Changes, with Jupiter being in Scorpio, the sign of change. Changes in relationships, changes with money, so that you can be happier. Maybe changes as well in your value systems. If you want to think of Venus also ruling your talents, changes in some of the talents that you use to make money. I think that will be really, really important, okay? Squares are typically hard, but if I do have to choose a square that I do like, it is a square to Jupiter, which I do like to think, even if you are making some big changes, hard changes, I do like to think that they will be to help you feel better, to help you make more sense of your life, of your relationships, of the people in it, so that you can do more of the things that you want, okay? So we've got that happening there. While that's going on, we also do have the sun in Cancer, doing some interesting things. The sun in Cancer here, of course, bringing our attention more to home and to family. Even though we're exploring a little bit today with this moon in Sagittarius, doing something new, considering our options, I think we still do, a big part of us, want to feel more grounded and rooted in our lives, to think more about home and family, to get more comfortable with who we are or with where we are now at this time in our life. Okay, I think that's possible eventually. However, there could be some uncomfortable feelings with the sun today coming off of a square to Chiron. I think, again, we're figuring out what we need to feel more comfortable in life. Maybe, again, we're making some changes with relationships and money in order to feel more comfortable in life, but perhaps as we try to feel more comfortable, more secure, more stable, it's preventing us from doing some of the other things in our life that we wanted or needed, or are requiring us to think of ourselves and our identity in a way that maybe we didn't want to or weren't prepared to think of ourselves at this time, okay? So that could be happening there. The sun also coming into an opposition with Saturn. That happened kind of fast. I guess Saturn's going retrograde now, backing up into the earlier degrees of, very earlier degrees of Capricorn, and it's coming into the opposition with the sun. And so what you could feel this week, the beginning of this week, is some kind of restriction here. We want to feel more comfortable in life in some way. We want to tend more to our personal, private, and emotional needs, but maybe we have some big responsibilities that are going on. Maybe we have some big things that we need to take care of in regards to our reputation, where it is that our life is going, that's preventing us from finding the comfort that we want and need in life. Okay, and with oppositions, always choices that you will have to make, decisions. What's more important to you, your reputation, where you thought your life was going, or your own emotional comfort and your own emotional needs? You got to decide. And a matter of fact, I will make this decision very easy for you. The decision here is your own emotional needs. Needs to be very important at this time. If you're doing something that's sacrificing your comfort, your stability, you know, or that's taking you out of comfort zone, yeah, it may not be the best at this time, okay? Especially because we're going to have the full moon, which I do talk about in your weeklies, which aren't up yet, but especially because we're going to have the full moon this Thursday come right on top of Saturn while it's opposing the sun, saying there's going to be a big end coming this week in your reputation, in your public, the way you think about your life publicly, in your life direction, in your career, and where you thought your life was going. If it's not an ending, it's going to be a completion of sorts that you're going to need to get in order, make decisions on, figure out, so that you can then start focusing on your heart and on your emotional comfort. So if you've got some things you're trying to decide between, do I do the public thing that will put my life in this direction, in the traditional kind of way, the secure kind of sure bet kind of way, or whether or not you need to let some of that go so that you can focus on what your emotional needs are, what your heart wants, the private stuff. If I were you, I would focus on your emotional well-being first, even if it means you have to make some hard decisions about some of the public matters, okay? Or have to tie some of those things up and figure some of those things out in order to focus on what your own emotional needs are, okay? So that's what I would recommend there, in order to overcome some of the feelings of restriction. All right, and that's really, I think, all that I'll mention for today. I mean, the astrology is definitely kind of interesting. Mars about to go retrograde this week. I like to think that's a good thing, Mars going retrograde. I think we've maybe felt like life has been at a standstill for some time. We've been feeling really frustrated, wanting to do things. Things aren't working. I don't think they're going to all of a sudden start working when Mars goes retrograde later this week, but I think we will at least start to feel like we're making a tad bit more progress to tie up some loose ends, to figure out what's really going on in our life, where we really see our future. I think we're going to be making more progress there, or feel like we're making more progress than we have recently. So I do like that, even if we are feeling restricted in the process, needing to make some choices going on. And then we also do have Saturn as well, backing up into a square with Chiron. We've got the North Node backing up into a trine with Chiron. We've got Uranus as well, which both of them are going to hit. So we're slowly, and we've got some eclipses coming. This next month is going to be crazy, for sure, with these eclipses. Big changes, things going on, okay? And we're going to start to come into some months now. I think that might take another month, but we're going to start to feel it in July. We might be coming into some months here where we got some big commitments in life that aren't feeling too great, aren't feeling too comfortable, wanting to break free perhaps from some of our commitments in life so that again we can feel more comfortable with who we are. Maybe hard for us to act on some of the things that are making us happy and needing to just do something unusual, do something unique in order to bring everything together, okay? So you'll hear me talk a little bit more about that in the coming weeks, go into a little bit more detail, but we are going to start coming into now the next few months some interesting times where some unexpected things can happen. I think we're going to want to break free from some old things, some old restrictions, some old ways of living and doing things so that we really can start to do more of what resonates with our heart. All right, I'll just leave that there. Now your card for the day is the 3. It's the 3 of Wands upright. This is a card of planning, of strategy. A lot of times it's like we've already made choices, perhaps. Well, we need to make choices with the sun and in opposition with Saturn. You know, it's like making choices, but also a lot about planning and strategizing for the future, thinking long term with this kind of placement. Maybe that's part of the sun in opposition with Saturn. I think today is a good day to think about where you want your future to go and to figure out how to align everything in the way that it is that you want it to. You know, it's kind of funny. I see this card as kind of having a Sagittarius vibe. Of course, with the wands to me represent fire signs. So I can definitely see that. It's kind of interesting because we've got the moon in Sagittarius. So maybe we are doing something new, or we are thinking about some things we need to do in order to break free from things that aren't working for us so that we can feel better. And I think this card is saying if you're thinking about doing that, it's a good time to break free, to use more of your unique gifts and talents, or maybe it will be over the next few months as Uranus makes some big moves here. But I think right now may be a good time for you to strategize and to plan for what may come in the future here, for you perhaps to not make any terribly rash moves without first making some decisions as well. Yeah, and to just think things through. If you're tired of having to do something new, if you're tired of having to constantly explore when all we really want to do with the sun in Cancer, the solar eclipse here, is to feel much better about your life, maybe that's what this card is saying. If you just take the time here to think about how you can take some new things, to think about how you can take some changes that you're making and plan over the next few months, maybe even a little longer than that in years, to maneuver all this stuff you're doing so that you can feel better later, feel more at home later, feel more at peace, comfort, and secure later, even if it's not here right now. I think that that might make today easier, especially very early this morning with the moon and a trine to Chiron. Okay, if you feel like you're trying everything that you can to feel at home, but you can't feel at home in your life because you keep having to do something new or something out of your comfort zone, maybe the message with this card that I think it's trying to tell me is maybe it would help to think a little bit longer down the road, even if it's fuzzy with Mars going stationing, even if it's fuzzy, maybe it might help you to take the long-term perspective, to strategize and plan for the future, for what could happen, come up with some contingency plans for a variety of different scenarios. Maybe that will then help you to overcome some of the insecurities or some of the worries that you may have right now about your life. Okay, so that's what I'll leave you with there. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, and I will talk to you later.